So my name is Dominic. I'm with GDS, and today we're presenting with Avalara regarding some of what we do on the GDS side with field service, and Avalara will get into their piece here in a bit. So there we go. So I've got several years of experience in the field service industry between working directly in it as a project manager, but then also supporting the field service industry on the supply side for various field service businesses, and then here at GDS with our field service solution on site. Worked as a project manager for a while and helping out the team in a few other ways. But enough about me. With on-site, we have a mobile application as well as a web version of that mobile app, and that's for the technician interface when they're out on a job. This connects directly to NetSuite, so it saves a lot of time, both because it's just easy to use and intuitive for the worker in the field. They're spending less time having to organize, compile this information. They're not having to call in, check in, do various things along those lines. The mobile app version functions offline, and it's got several features that just at the end of the day it makes the tech's job easier, and it gets the data into your ERP system. So NetSuite in this instance, very easily, cutting out a lot of time that you would spend with data entry and following up in those types of situations. Besides being able to look at what jobs they have in kind of the high end that we're looking at on some of the pictures on the other slide, they will have task lists, various asset tracking abilities. So we'll look at that here in a minute, but the worker in the field is going to be able to, again, update everything into NetSuite very quickly and very easily. From the office standpoint, we include a built for NetSuite bundle that gives the office tools for managing the field service jobs from their end. So that includes an intuitive drag and drop scheduler. We have a routing map, so you can see where all the jobs are laid out for all of your workers, not just a specific worker. There's field service or field work order records that are customizable, so you can tailor them to your specific jobs that you need in terms of what information the tech needs to record from the site, as well as telling them what tasks you want them to do, and a number of other things, deliverables, whatever you need. This is coming from a company that originally was in the field service industry. We're kind of a spinoff from that, so we have a lot of experience in what is needed there. Again, because the worker interface connects directly to NetSuite, all of that data entry is no longer required. So you don't need to follow up with your technicians to see if they're on site. You know that they're on site when they check in on the app. You don't need to follow up with them for deliverables because you already have the deliverables. They're on the field work order record. A lot of time is saved here and a lot of stress. It makes your customers happy because they're getting updates. You can have real-time updates saying that they're on their way. If you set up a customer portal, they can look at post-job summaries, deliverables, etc. In terms of assets, we are able to track asset information, including installation date, warranty information, serial numbers. If there's subparts to those assets, we can track that information, as well as you can upload files such as instruction manuals to the assets that are then accessible by the worker in the field. And then these assets, their location is also tracked. So you will know where they are at all times. Then as the worker, when you're doing a job against an asset, you can track time against the asset itself. That information, we call it an asset history record. So you can see, hey, Bob was out on site at this location, worked for this amount of time, and on this piece of equipment. That information is then, not only is that communicated back to NetSuite, but that is stored on the equipment itself, on the job itself, and that customer in NetSuite also has that information stored. So all that data then becomes available for reports, for KPIs, or if you have other purposes where you need to take that data. And that's kind of a good handing off point to Avalara. Giselle, are you ready to do your piece?
Hi there. Yes, I am. Thank you. Thanks for all of that information, Dominic. My name is Giselle Kretschmer. I am the product solution engineer here at Avalara. My specialty is property tax. That's one of our focus areas. So what we're going to be talking about today is really just how does all of this information impact you as a business from a property tax standpoint. So because now you have a more efficient way to track your asset activities, naturally you'd want to understand if there's a solution out there to help you with your efficiencies in your property tax process. So let's discuss briefly what property tax is on a high level and how it relates to your assets as a business. So on this slide, you can actually see some of this information, but there are two types of tax types. So we have real estate and business personal property, which is shortened to BPP. Business personal property relates to those items in your business that you can move, like equipment in the field or office furniture, things like that. Whereas real estate relates to items that you cannot move, such as the warehouses themselves, where these pieces of equipment are stored. If we go to the next slide, that would be great. Thank you. So even though even though property tax applies to most businesses, there are only 38 states in which businesses will have a property tax obligation in the business personal property area. So one of the main challenges in a business is, that has a lot of asset movement, is not being able to properly track these changes, where the location is, etc. And with that comes the challenge of not knowing where you should file your renditions as a business based on the location of your assets for that year. So understandably, understanding now GSD's technology, that it's made this process for businesses easier, now it's time to look at the ways to automate your manual process in the property tax piece. So if you go to the next slide. So at Avalara, we have two property tax solutions that were developed to scale business growth. Our enterprise solution over here to the first, so it's the middle one. Our enterprise solution offers robust packet rendition creation backed with cutting edge technology to literally cut your manual compiling and completion of your forms themselves in half. So similarly to our enterprise application, our Pro application provides folks with lower rendition filing volumes in a guided experience with tooltips to help them along the way. Additionally, both of the solutions include an interactive calendar that's maintained by our information management team with deadlines to help you plan your tax season more efficiently. Now, with the use of these tools, automation will increase and you will see those efficiencies, and that will allow for more control and accuracy in how your team uses available depreciation schedules to file the renditions timely and ultimately see those savings in the received tax bills for the season. So we can go to the next slide. And on this slide, we can kind of see the other areas that our application will help you. So for your notices and appeals and for the tax bills themselves. And let's go to the next slide. And these are kind of some of the images of the application. You can see the interactive calendar for both the Pro application and the Enterprise application. And then we can go to the next slide. And again, this is just a way for you to understand what the process looks like through your timeline when you are kind of thinking about how to plan your tax season and how to use our tools to do so. And then I'm going to give it back to Dominic. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Giselle. Well, that concludes our presentation. To everybody that's watching, if you have any questions, please pose them in the chat, and then we will send you each a response via email. All right. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.